We're done with the structural transformation of this undeveloped basement space, or at least then undeveloped, because now it's completely finished. We've got drywalls up, we've got electricals done, plumbing, all of that cool stuff. And now, it's usable. I was a general contractor going out there looking for people to help me out in completing different parts of this entire project. This was definitely a huge learning experience for me, and I think I found a new love in a way. Like transforming undeveloped spaces, I've never done something like that in my life until after this. Usually what I do is transform a desk setup or a living room space. These are like the general stuff. I'm talking about already finished spaces. But I decided, I want to learn more about this kind of stuff, about going from the foundation all the way up to, how things look when they're finished. This wasn't completely from the foundation, like I didn't build the whole house. I mean, I was heavily invested in getting the house to the way it was with the builders when they were putting this up, but I didn't really get to customize it the way I wanted. But with this basement, I was able to customize every bit of it to the way that I wanted. I'm gonna walk you guys through, give you guys an empty tour of my new studio space, my new man cave, my new rec center, whatever you wanna call it. It's a combination of all of these things for me, and I'm super excited to bring you guys along, show you guys everything here. This isn't going to be the final way everything is gonna look. There's still a few things I gotta do, smaller things like maybe painting baseboards, touch-up painting, just general small stuff. And then after that, I'm going to convert the space into an actual studio. Since I'm already standing right here, I'm gonna start off with what this space is going to be. So I've set up this space in such a way where I didn't put any wall in between, because that's how they usually design these basements, is so you can have like a single bedroom in here, but I decided to scrap that plan and just make it an open concept space. The idea here is to essentially have a left and a right wall that are kind of accent walls. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen my slat walls from my old videos. So I usually would like to have accent walls of different kinds in my spaces. So in this one, I'm gonna have two of them. So the first one is going to be from my main desk setup, which I've decided to place on the left side. As you can see, I've got my desk and my chair there already. That's not how it's going to look. It's not gonna look anything like this. This is just to get things going from now, because I need a place to work. The right side here is going to be my set wall. Or my display wall, my product showcase wall, essentially something like that is gonna go here. I'm not gonna tell you guys what I've got planned, but we're gonna do something really, really, really cool with this wall and this wall. So they're gonna come together and look so cool. I can't wait to, get that started. But yeah, in between, I'm gonna have nothing. It's just gonna be open space, which is gonna allow me to be able to move my lights around, my equipment, just space. That's one of the things that I've really, really wished I had since the beginning of this journey. But hey, you got to work your way up in life. You got to work your way up, and that's how it is. Because it started in the basement for me, man. I was in there, and we couldn't get any kind of space. There was no kind of space available. Everything had to be moved around, shuffled around to get things done. But now, here we are. We've got space. Okay, so the next part of the studio is something I'm calling the utility and storage area. So as you can see, I've got a bit of storage underneath the staircase here. It's not a lot, but it's some storage. I've got some motion sensor lighting in there to allow me not to have to worry about that whenever I go in there to grab something. So it's not a lot of space, but it's enough to, store things that I'm currently working with, new technologies, new devices, or just things in general that I want to put away but still have access to. So on this side, it's going to be a utility section and an overhead filming section as well. I've got two 15 amp receptacles built into the top there to allow me to mount my lights. That way I can have them pointing downward. So I'm gonna have them point downward here and then have kind of a top here of some kind to allow me to be able to film overhead content. So that's something I've always struggled with, and it's one of the reasons why I've decided to section this studio into different spaces, because I've had all these different issues that I've dealt with in the past, and I'm trying to make my life easier, make the workflow much more seamless, smoother. So yeah, that's what this is going to be. I've got a bunch of outlets here, a 4-port Cat 6 Ethernet jack there. So for whatever handhelds I'm gonna be testing, whatever laptops, whatever I'm gonna be doing there, I've got multiple ports there. So I've got outlets too on both ends. So a quad on this side with USB Type-C, and then a regular receptacle on that side. So plenty of options for getting power and getting internet directly to this area, which I will be needing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's move on to the next section. Okay, so this is the Homelab. So essentially the brains of the entire house, including the studio. So I decided to finish the floor in here as well, as you guys can see, because I consider it as part of my studio. It's the mechanical room for the house. So you'll find the breaker panels for all the electricals for the entire house here. So I also decided to build myself an IT server rack. So this is not just a server rack, this is also a multimedia rack, because on the flip side of this, I've got my theater room, which we'll get to in a bit here. So what I did while the basement was being finished was run every wire to this spot right here. So everything from the top of the house, I've got them all wired down here. I'm talking about all the data cables, by the way, not just every single wire in the house. I've also got all the data cables from the basement routed to this spot right here. So everything comes here. On the left side here, I've got a tool bench, which I plan to do some stuff here and enhance this space as well. I'm gonna make this a utility area where I can have all my major tools, so my drills, my DIY tools, you know, my nail gun, things like that. So all that stuff will be on the wall, and I'll have this to store things, you know, on the inside. But yeah, this is not a large space by any means, but I needed more storage, more space to do more things in my studio. So I decided to add this to my studio, at least part of it. So half of it is being used as a part of the studio, while the other half is just for random home storage stuff. So I'm not gonna show you guys that stuff because nobody cares about that, man. All right, so next room, theater, let's go. Okay, so this is my entertainment space. So this is gonna be where I game, I watch movies, I take a break, take a breather, you know, get away from work, or just use it as a way to watch or binge, you know, my favorite shows. That's just what it is. It's a theater room. So besides the fact that I decided to use 5/8 drywall, which are just thicker drywall, I also use Sonopan, which is a 3/4 depth, but it's also designed specifically to dampen sound. Finally, I used acoustic insulation, so in the wall as well. So this room is pretty insulated when it comes to sound. I also put some sound weather stripping, or whatever you call it, around the door here. So I just picked up some stuff off Amazon, and it works pretty well. It's going to be a projector room, so I'm not going to have a TV or anything here. I want to have this entire wall display something. So I've set up the room, wired it in that way. I've got wireless speakers, architectural speakers built into the wall, so that way, you know, I really have more space to play with, because this room is gonna be 90, well, let's say 70% couch. The ceiling is also dropped here compared to everywhere else in the studio, which is also great for this kind of space. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the lighting, but so far, right now, that's what I'm going with. The walls are white, nothing crazy, just pretty, you know, simple. So they're very reflective. So I've also got temperature control here. So I've got this throughout the entire studio. It's a smart venting system that, you know, closes and opens the vents accordingly, so as they're needed. So this vent right now is closed because I've you know, marked this room as inactive. So this room is not being used. So it will close the vents and not push in unnecessary air in here. It's a really cool system I've been trying out. You know, comes with pros and cons as well, but it's been working pretty decently well for me. But yeah, can't wait to get my couch in here. It's a pretty sick couch. I can't wait to show you guys how this place comes together. This is the flip side of where I was just standing, so the opposite side of the room. And you can see I've got rear in-wall speakers as well. On this side, I've got some data cables, Ethernet Cat 6 for a projector because I want it hardwired. I've got HDMI cable somewhere in there. It's not really quite finished yet, but I'll get to that. So I'm gonna have a projector mounted up there when I find the right one. I haven't found one yet that's perfect enough for what I'm looking for. So I want something that's great for both gaming and media consumption. So watching movies and TV shows and all of that. So when I find the right one, that goes up there. But I've also got in-wall or in-ceiling speakers, as you can see. So Dolby Atmos. To complete the system, I've got wiring for a subwoofer right there. So it's gonna be a couch against this wall, like a really low couch. And then there's gonna be a subwoofer there, projector up here, pointed that way. That's a general idea. There's gonna be more to it, so make sure you guys, you know, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Turn on notifications so you guys know when I post the transformation, or, you know, the setup of this space, more like. I've got an open hatch here, so I'll explain that more when I get into the bathroom. You guys will see what I mean, but there's one there. So USB Type-C outlets at the lower level for charging phones and laptops while in here as well. You gotta think about utility all the time. Less power blocks is always better. You might also notice that it's the only room that has carpet on the entire floor, so this entire basement. And I did that because I wanted this room to be cozy. I wanted it to be insulated, you know, for soundproof, all of that. So this room was perfect to use for that. I mean, I have Sonopan and all that stuff all up in all the walls in the studio as well, because it's a studio and I want soundproofing to be the best. So that's kind of how it works there. I didn't want to have to do all that after, you know what I mean? Like trying to put soundproofing materials on there. So trying to get it in behind the wall, I thought was a smart idea. So got it in there and it's been pretty decent. It's not been amazing because I don't have a door blocking the top floor from the basement, but it's been pretty solid. All right, let's go ahead and check out the next room. Okay, so this is the bathroom. Yeah, that thing is smart. I'm gonna get into it in a bit here. It's essentially a bathroom, a 3-piece bathroom with a vanity, toilet, and a shower. So I decided to have some fun with this, make it as futuristic as possible, you know, as next level as possible, because it's a bathroom. You gotta have fun with it. And I was also not given much space to work with here, so I decided to maximize the space that I had using very minimal items. So over here you can see I've got the vanity. It's pretty cool. It's just slatted look on the outside here, and it's got like a bowl up top. We've got faucets, the faucet and controls built into the wall as well over here, and some ambient lighting built into the mirror. So this is not a smart mirror, but it's not a regular mirror either. It's got LED strip built into the back side here, which then reflects against this side, creating this look. It's also got an anti-fog control here. So if you want to defog while you're showering, you don't want it to get all fogged up, you turn that on. So you can change the temperature of the light, you know, or the brightness down here, increase or reduce it here, and then you can change the temperature from here. So that's it right there. So I had to have them run wiring for that behind the wall so I can have this done. So if I didn't do that, it would have been more obvious that, you know, I had this set up right here. I would have had to plug it right in there, which I didn't want. I want a finished, clean look. I've also got the floor heater control on here. So it's a smart control that I can control from my phone, from my apps, all that stuff. This is a toilet that I picked up at a store called Bed Bath & Beyond. And it wasn't cheap by any means at all, but it comes with so many cool features that honestly makes it the most exciting thing for me to use down here. Now there's a lot of cool things that this thing can do. I'm not gonna go into all of that because I don't wanna waste too much time on just one thing during this video. First off, we've got heated seats here. We've got a bidet built right into it. So if you don't know what that is, you can Google it and find out what a bidet is. You've got both of these on automatic. So they close and open by themselves. There's also a little control here that you can use to automatically open or close them. Another cool thing I really like about it is that it flushes automatically. Those are just a few of the cool things that it can do. I mean, I'm still exploring it, still finding out more things about it, but it's pretty fun to use. Okay, so now we checked out the toilet and the vanity. Let's check out the shower. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the entire basement. So we've got some pretty decent looking Bali vibes going on in here with these wall tiles, but on the floor, we've got black tiles. You can't even see the drain as well. So the drain is built right into those tiles. So it's not a conventional bathroom at all. We got the custom build this ourselves. So I'm not saying it's the greatest bathroom out there. There's pretty cooler ones, there's bigger ones. You know, there's so many cool things you can do out there. But what I'm saying is, I'm so glad that I was able to get to do this. Usually you don't get to do this with bills. You get whatever they give you, at least 90% of the time, or they charge you up the ass for some simple or some basic thing. We've got some LED lighting going on up here in the shower. So it's built into the rain head shower. I built in a little niche over here as well. So a small niche to store soaps, because like I said, space is not readily available here. So we have to be really clever with how we set it up. So a little niche here and a rain head shower. That means we don't have to have something, you know, drop down or something coming out of here. It's just a much cleaner look. At least that's what I think. Plus, the LED lighting is just amazing. By the way, it also comes with a remote control for the light. This is a control module right here. So you've got 4 different control options. 2 of them control the rain head shower. So there's 2 different ways the water can come out. And then one of them controls the wand, while the last one just controls the temperature. So not too bad. I'm gonna turn on the water here, but I gotta get out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the rain head shower one style. So it comes down from the sides, right there, towards the center. Pretty cool, I know. And then if you wanted, you could switch to this one right here, which is more like a rain shower. So it just pours directly from the center. Yeah, the light is still on while it does that. You can have both of them on at the same time as well. You want a combination? I know. I don't know why you'll use that much water, but if you do, well, you can do that with this guy. And finally, the wand right there. So much power. Look at that, man. It's crazy. So turn that off. That's it. Control knob for temperature, and we are good. So glass is pretty solid. We got a small handle for this. I was gonna go for a pretty large one at the start, but when I really saw what that would have looked like, I said, nah, we're not doing it. Okay, on to the final part of the studio space, the kitchen. So this is the wet bar area as well as the lounge area. So I'm gonna have a little dining table or, you know, whatever kind of table here to sit down and chill, have a coffee, all of that. I decided to go with a very dark aesthetic for this, as you can see. So black shelves and black counter as well as black cabinets. But I then decided to give it some brightness with the white bar fridge. I think it's a pretty cool look and very different than most of the conventional ones that are out there, or at least the ones that I've seen. We've got some green glossy tiles here and some black and white countertops. So black dominant, but with some white veining. I had some low voltage wires ran for these before the walls went up. So that way it looks seamless. You don't see anything. It just looks like a random strip of lights that was meant to be there, because it was meant to be there. But finally, I've got the faucet and the soap dispenser. So I went for something that exudes luxury. So brushed bronze, it's the same color or the same design as the handle on the fridge or the bar fridge here as well. So really cool. I love how they kind of just stick out as the only things that have that design on them. And something that's cool about the faucet as well is that it is touch sensor. So I mean, you touch any part of it. Doesn't matter what part of the faucet you touch. Once you touch it, the water goes on. You tap it again, it's off. If you touch and hold, it doesn't respond. See? So that way, you know, you're not making a mistake between tapping and actually grabbing the faucet. So if you want to, say, increase the temperature or reduce it, you can do that without having to turn it off. Or just tap the handle there and it goes off. 3 drawers on this side. We've got a trash drawer on this side, trash and recycle can or bin. Then we've got our double doors for underneath the sink. And on this side, we were gonna get a wine rack done, but like I said, he was really difficult to work with, the cabinet guy, so he never finished this. But I mean, I think it turned out pretty well, regardless of all the issues that we went through. So far, this has been about a 4 to 5 month process, and I'd anticipated earlier that it was gonna be 2 to 3 months. But it's my first time doing something like this, so of course, I underestimated how long it was gonna take, and you know, dealing with folks and stuff like that. It was a very challenging process, I'll tell you that, especially for a first timer trying to organize people that, you know, usually are difficult to organize. Tradespeople are difficult to organize and work with. I'm excited to, you know, finish this up, get all my furniture in here and create these feature walls and all these spaces, optimize them and make them look exactly as I had initially planned. Now, this is not done. I know this is already cool the way it is, but it's going to get better. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, and I will catch you guys in my next video. If you made it to this point, I appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.